When you're going through the divorce process, you're going to need to think of a parenting plan. A parenting plan is going to help you and your ex prepare for the future and what you're going to do with your child. So the first thing you want to think about is your schedule. Who's going to have your child or children and when? Some people like to have the kids 1 week on and 1 week off. Some like to switch off day by day. There's a lot of different arrangements that can be made as far as the schedule. Then what about daily activities? Who's going to help with homework? Who's going to help with taking the kid to the doctor, to the dentist? Just basic daily activities. In addition to the schedule, you're going to want to think about holidays and birthdays. A lot of people just like to switch off from year to year. So for New Year's this year, you'll have the children, and for New Year's next year, your ex will have the children. You can do it like that, or whatever's agreeable to you. The main thing to do is to be flexible and to communicate. The best thing to do is to plan for now and to plan for the future, because as your children grow and as they change, their needs are going to change, and they may not want to have the same schedule as they did when they were younger. So remember that the best thing is to plan for the future, but to be flexible. And just remember that things change. Your life may change, your work schedule may change, your ex's schedule may change, and the feelings of your children may change. They may not want to have the same schedule they did when they were younger. When family structure has changed, a child is going to go through a lot. They have their own process to deal with, and so one of the things you want to do is communicate. Leave communication open between the two of you and let your child know that you're open to talking. And whenever they need to talk, you're there. You don't want to press them, but it's good to ask them how they're feeling and if there's anything they want to express. One of the things you really don't want to do is you don't want to involve adult concepts into children's life. You want your child to be a child and remain a child as long as possible. So if you're having a fight with your ex, don't involve your child with that. It's not in the best interest of your child to get them involved in a dispute between their parents. They need to know that you both love them and that they're not the cause of your disagreement. Communication is key with your child, but it's also key with your ex. So even though you're separating from this person, you have to remember that you're going to need to communicate with them in order to have the best interest of your child in mind. Think of it as a business agreement. So when you communicate with the other parent, try not to let your emotions get in the way. You want to talk to them about what's happening with the child and what you can do to improve their situation. When you're thinking about communication, you have to take into account how old the child is. So for younger children, they may not be able to articulate what they're feeling. You want to keep this in mind, that they don't have the vocabulary to always tell you what they're feeling. One of the main keys with younger children is consistency. So in the beginning, when you have a parenting plan, stick to it. Stick to your schedule, get them used to the schedule, and really be consistent. This will help them a great deal. One of the other things you may want to do is have a lovey, like a stuffed animal or a blanket that they can take to each parent's house. That way they have something of comfort that they always have with them. You may also want to have some playtime where you just draw or play with them, and you'll be surprised at the things that they tell you. Remember, with young children, old behaviors may come up again. So if they're potty trained, they may have some accidents. Try not to scold them. Remember that this is a hard time for them too. Give them lots of physical reassurance and loving words, lots of hugs. This will help them get through this tough time, and they will get through it. Then you have children in grade school. This group of children are going to be a lot more aware of what's going on and may need a little more reassurance and understanding of what's happening. So you may want to get some books about divorce. You may want to talk to them a little bit more and explain to them that they have nothing to do with the separation and that it's really between the mom and the dad. You want to let them know that you're there for them, that the other parent is there for them, and that if they have any questions that you're willing to talk. But again, just be open to them and spend time with them, and be aware that their frustration may be due to the fact that they're used to a little more attention. So now that they're split up between households, they may need a little more attention on your side. Finally, you have preteens and adolescents and teenagers. This is a difficult group of children because not only are they dealing with the new family dynamic, but they're dealing with their own changes physically and emotionally. So one of the things you want to keep in mind is that they've had a certain family structure for most of their life, and now it's changing. This could be very difficult for them. Because they're a little bit older, they can utilize adult support systems as well as your support. So for instance, their friends are going to be supportive. If they need to see a therapist, they can do so. Just be open to the fact that you're not the only support system for them. One of the things you may want to do, though, is continue family rituals. So if you have dinner every Sunday night, continue to have that dinner, even though it's with a different group of people, maybe not with your ex, obviously. And be appreciative of the chores that they do in your house. Show them appreciation. The only thing that you want to keep in mind that is, even though they are older, don't use them as your confidant. They are still children, and they need to realize that your adult issues are your adult issues. Don't bring them into what you're disagreeing about with your ex. It's really not for them to be involved with.